Hey guys, it's Kimberly. Welcome back to the channel. Just saging a little bit. We're going to do a reading today for twin flames. This is specifically for the lovers. I don't know why, I'm just getting that message. So this is not Ascended Masters. This is just a twin flame reading, and they're saying for the lovers. They had me pull the Lover's Path Tarot, and there's some messages that definitely want to come through. So thank you guys for those who joined my free conference call last night. It was great. I'll be holding one more this summer in August. I think it's August 21st. So it'll be in the evening again. So if you missed it, you'll be able to get in on that one. You guys, if you want to book sessions, readings, soul coaching sessions, you can visit my website, spiritualmaterialgirl.com. And just a reminder that my retreat is about to close out, and I still have a few spots left because I have people who registered, but then I don't know if they backed out or they just kind of fell off the face of the earth. So they weren't maybe serious about it. So because of that, I have 3 spots still open. So if anybody wants to sign up, come to that wonderful retreat, Ascension Retreat in September. This is the time to do it. Everything will be closed by August, so please register. All that info is on my website. Just click 2019 Ascension Retreat up at the top. And if you guys want to donate to the channel or donate to my cause, you can just click the donate button on the site, and I appreciate all of your support. And yeah, so I'm just sipping my tea. I like to do these early in the morning. So yeah, you might hear me sipping a little bit. I'm gonna put my mug over here. So let's shuffle and let's see what comes. I've definitely been receiving some powerful messages around the divine feminine, divine masculine. So one thing with the divine feminine I'm getting, we'll just talk while I shuffle for a minute, is that she's needing a healthy boost of ego. It's hard for me to explain this, but our egos are intact for really good purposes too. So if you had no ego, excuse me, not only would you not have an identity, but you would have a hard time pulling yourself out of situations that don't work for you. And so it's not just an alignment with integrity and your soul self, divine self, but there is a little bit of ego drive that comes into play that helps us not be a doormat. And sometimes that ego drive can also be the thing that pushes us forward in a good way. Where it's unhealthy is obviously when it's out of balance, when we're, in a false masculine expression, when the ego drive is literally driving everything. And believe me, you guys, I've been there in my life, and it's not a good thing, a good way to pull things into life or to will things into existence. However, I think a healthy dose of it, a healthy dose, is needed at this time to help propel the feminine forward. Not in an egoic, sort of defensive or willful way, but in a way that it feels more like pride, if that makes sense, like a little bit of self-pride that feels more related to the ego would be actually healthy at this time. A lot of the feminines are needing that in a healthy balance. But it's hard for me to deliver that message because most of you have an imbalance in your polarities that you're still working out because you're still healing. So it's hard to give this advice and know that it's really going to be received or understood. But those of you who have been working on that balance, you know what I mean. You know what I mean, because it's going to come from a balanced place, not an imbalanced place. And that feels like, so we're seeing the Princess of Arrows in reverse here. And I feel like this is for the feminine. And this is Psyche. And I do feel like, Psyche's coming up for a reason. And this is about you knowing what you want and going out and getting it. The other thing too is it's really weird. All these butterflies here. I just saw an image, some video or something was on Facebook of this man in the jungle, Africa somewhere, and it must be the jungle. He was going through with a net with, I guess the way they catch the butterflies on the net just to photograph them is by putting his urine on the net, which is kind of gross, I know. But when I looked at the net, it had all these beautiful, like it looked really similar to these beautiful butterflies. I think this is about what you want and the clarity of knowing what you want coming through, whether that's as a product of the eclipses or maybe it's just some of the shifts that's happening cosmically, but I feel like you know more of what you want, feminine, and a little healthy dose of ego, self-pride would be healthy for you to kind of move you forward. And I know it's probably not coming out right the way I'm explaining it, but that's how they're showing it to me. I feel like this is the feminine really communicating what she wants, what she needs, and lining up with that and going after it. And if there's a certain amount of determination here, but there's also a certain amount of I got to do what I got to do and less emotional waters pulling you. I feel like the emotional waters have weighed you down, kept you stuck, and you're really through that now. You're through that. You're coming through to the beautiful butterfly transformation. And this is helping you move forward. And for the masculine, Two of Staves. So, you know, masculine's contemplating some things. He's thinking about leaving something and going somewhere else. But he's still holding on to some of the old paradigms, some of the old... It's a risk, he's saying. And for some of you, they're still saying the masculine is still contemplating the risk of leaving the karmic partner and opening himself all the way to the beloved. He's still hanging on to the karmic for some of you. But he sees the new life and he sees what he wants to create and he sees it. But he's still not quite ready to just let the old paradigms go, the sense of security. I mean, I'm getting the sense that he's saying to himself, oh, but that was bad before, or that was, I can't go back to that, or if I leave this, it'll be a risk, or going in this direction is risky, like I might end up alone. But yet, it's like he's seeing what's important and he's seeing what he wants to create, yet he's just afraid because there's this fear of being alone. There's this fear of, like, he's kind of settling over here with what he's hanging on to, settling for less, but it's comfortable, it's comfortable, and there's a comfort in it that this feels very unknown, but it also feels really good because it's what he desires, what he truly desires, but he's still, there's that fear where he's like made a step towards it, but he can't go all the way through just yet. And there's a few other things that need to happen within the masculine to help set him free. And it could be things that transpire in the karmic relationship. It could be things that illumination, signs, synchronicities, things that just illuminate for him psychically, that show him it's time to move forward, move towards his truth. I think you'll see a lot of this shifting in August with the Leo energy. All right, and the combined energies. What are both the masculine and feminine working on at this time in the collective? So transformation in reverse. So they're both, I think you're both going through your own transformations. This is Persephone and Pluto. And I'm going to read you that story. I'm just going to grab the book for a minute because I feel like they want me to read it to you. But the transformation is where I feel like the feminine is emerging into the butterfly and the masculine is still kind of struggling with who he wants to become and the holding on to the cocoon, sort of, if that makes sense. Like still holding on to his former form and holding on to the ego and holding on to the old paradigms. There's still a bit of that, and he's creating the resistance. I feel like the universe is ready to push him forward, but he's creating a little bit of the resistance for some of the masculine. I'll be right back, you guys. Okay, so I'm going to read you Persephone and Pluto from the Lover's Path Tarot. All right, so this is like the death card, obviously. Changes, endings, beginnings. So it says, Demeter, goddess of the harvest, had a daughter named Persephone, whom she treasured more than the earth. When Persephone was abducted by Pluto, god of the underworld, Demeter cursed the soil to be barren until Zeus finally agreed to reunite Persephone with her mother, but only if she had not eaten while in the underworld. Persephone had eaten 6 seeds of a pomegranate. Thus, a compromise was reached. Each year, Persephone would live 6 months in the underworld and 6 months on Earth. So this is about like something needing to die or change in order to renew. It's the fear of loss. Creating life out of death. I feel like, this really means different things for the masculine and the feminine, but it's really the same message. And I have goosebumps around that, which is the feminine has let go of things, and the things that she's let go of, I feel like she's seeing the clarity on now, and she must move forward no matter what. Like, even if it feels like something has died in the physical, it's time to move forward on your own path, because that's how everything heals. Everything heals within your connection. Everything will heal. This is letting go of a relationship that ended probably over the past year. For some of you, it could have been the past few weeks, few months. And I feel like for some of you in the past year, completely letting it go and moving forward now. There's this sense of the renewal, regeneration for the feminine. This is also the sense of the past hurts, the shadow, the darker pieces of us that we're now just reconciling, integrating, and we're able to move forward with rather than them weighing us down. So it's the death of those old cycles, those old karmic cycles, our patterns that have kept us stuck. And really, I see her just creating. I keep getting that word, creating, just moving into creation energy. Just keep creating, feminine. For the masculine, I feel like this is that thing that he's not wanting to let go of. The things that he's resisting letting die, he's needing to let die. He's needing to let go. He's needing to surrender. He's needing to take that risk to say, okay, that's not my truth. I'm just hanging on because it's the old paradigm. It's the old expectation. It's comfort. It's codependency. It's filling the void of loneliness, whatever that is. He's needing to allow that to die, to let go of it. Okay. See what else they have to say. Okay, so King of Coins. Which I feel like for the masculine, I feel like this is for the masculine. because it's where he wants to be. It's where he really wants to get to. Yeah? Like, this is Zeus. This is more of the father figure, the god energy, the establishment, the independence, the manhood, the stepping up, the pioneering, you know, and this is someone in his truth, I feel too, and he's striving for that. I do feel that there's a desire that is it's recognized. It's just hard for him to step into at this time. He's blocked. Adonis, King of Arrows. I feel like this is the truth, some truth that the masculine is going to be stepping forward with to the feminine. See, he's coming. I feel like, though, I'm laughing because the guidance that they're giving me is that, like, the healthy, balanced sense of ego pride, self-pride that the feminine needs, the masculine needs to strip away in order to show up, to be the valiant one, to be, you know, the romantic one, to be the lover who shows up and wins her back over, or wins her over. And I do feel the masculine showing up, but he's not going to show up till he's more in this energy for her. And I feel there's truth coming forward. There's truth about how he really feels, so this shows me like communication. There's communication coming from the masculine to the feminine. Might not be for some, this jump, this transition, it's going to take several more months. For others, like, it could be happening very soon where they're able to step forward with more truth. I'm not saying masculine totally needs to be in this full establishment for him to come forth with the truth of his heart. I feel like the truth of his heart is really leading him. He knows who he wants to step towards. It's just tough for him right now. So the same healthy dose of ego, pride, or drive that the feminine needs is the same healthy dose that the masculine needs to strip away. So I almost feel like if these are counter energies, as the feminine healthily embodies this, the masculine will find his balance in stripping it away. So that they feel like counter energies. So it's interesting. Okay, so we've got the combined energy is temptation, which is Paolo and Francesca. I'll read you that. All right, so this is like the devil card. This is Francesca da Polenta of Ravenna was married to Giovanni Malatesta to strengthen their family's political bonds. But there was one problem. Francesca loved Giovanni's brother, the handsome Paolo. Tempted by love, Francesca and Paolo's story could only end in sorrow. These true events inspired the poet Dante, who had a vision of Paolo tenderly embracing Francesca to protect her against the forces swirling about them in Hades. Dante retold their sad story in his Inferno, the first book of the Divine Comedy. So this is temptation. See, this is where this could be tricky, because this is temptation towards, I feel like with the masculine, like, it's temptation towards his love, but then he's tempted towards the old things, the addictions, the old cycles. There's a temptation that goes both ways for the masculine that's really keeping him at this time a little bit stuck from really moving forward. But I feel that coming unstuck. For the feminine, I feel like there is this temptation of, well, if I move forward, that's always tempting me. But the thing is like, it doesn't need to tempt you. Things only tempt us when it's denied. So like that story that I just read to you, those two lovers were denied, right? She was set up with someone else, with his brother. They were denied. So then there's temptation. There's only temptation when there's denial. So don't deny yourself your twin flame, and then don't expect your twin flame. Just move forward on your own path. And they're saying like, allow what needs to show up for you to show up, and know that the things that have been unhealthy for you, they do need to die. They need to be let go of. This is a huge recognition for a lot of the twins. But the problem is I feel like with the masculine, a lot of those cycles are within himself. With the feminine, a lot of them are within yourself, and like choosing the toxic people, choosing the toxic patterns. And now you're realizing, I don't need to go towards that anymore. I'm healing this within myself. And it even could be temptation for the twin, like I said, but that's only going to be caused from a sense of denial or restriction. The other things are just we're tempted by our own patterns. And I think feminine's done a fairly good job at breaking those patterns and realizing that her health, her well-being, her sense of self comes first before she would put herself in toxic situations again. And let's pull one more for each, and then we'll go into a different deck. How about sort of like outcome? How does this turn out for the lovers? We know what they're working on. We know what they're fighting against. How is this going to turn out here for these lovers? Oh, we just had a few pop out. So we have Tannhauser, Elizabeth, Judgment, and the Eight of Arrows. So Judgment was in reverse, and I'll hold these up like this. This is about, see, the masculine's coming to the feminine. This is really about feminine, like allowing it to happen. This I feel like is the masculine coming to his knees, like his emotional side, his feminine side, to be honest with you. I think he's coming to his knees. He's there's some recognition of his responsibility, or the sorrows not just being a coincidence, or the drama not just being coincidence, or the patterns not just being coincidence, like him seeing the truth around that these are patterns he's created. And that's going to set him free. It's also going to bring him into his emotionality so that he can step forward for the feminine. There's a sense of sorrow and loss. He is leaving something behind, but he's also lamenting ways that he's handled things in the past, I feel, if that makes sense. Like they're saying he's coming down hard on himself at some point when he finally lets go of some of this ego, pride. Okay, so this is the outcome. Love. It's Isis and Osiris. That's the outcome for the joint energy. So we're going from death and devil to love. So it's so true that like having to let go of the toxicities, having to line up with ourselves, having to come home to ourselves, having to let go of things that aren't working, having to let go of karmic situations, having to move forward, having to just release, having to even release the twin flame, having to trust in the separations. That's what's going to lead to the love and the union. And I feel like this is just saying union comes as a result of this. The overall message is both are going to need to move forward in their own faith, in their own trust of what they desire, and follow their own path before it's going to come together like this. So bottom of this deck is the Five of Coins, which again, this is why is this always lurking? That fear of abandonment, that fear of being left out in the cold. This is why we're afraid to move forward on our own path and forsake maybe what we thought was going to happen, how we thought it was going to play out, and just let it all go and just move forward on our path, because we're afraid it'll never come back, it'll never work itself out. But they're saying it does work itself out. It does. This abandonment wound needs to be healed all the way to help you move forward without fear. This is the same reason why masculine's in the old paradigms and unable to let go. He's afraid. But oh God, what if I lose everything? What if I'm left out in the cold? What if I end up having nothing? So more healing around the abandonment wound would be necessary. Let's go to the past life deck for the lovers, just to get some more clarity. What are we working on from past life or early life? Okay, so they're saying Asia. So some of you could have a connection to Asia. There might be Buddhist philosophies right now that are calling to you, or some sort of Asian philosophies that are calling to you to help you in your healing. I feel like this is more for the feminine. I get the sense that feminine's getting the call to, like, I just ordered some Tibetan bowls, and I've been really called towards like Sanskrit mantras. Some of you might be like pulled by Buddhist sort of teachings, and this could also symbolize karma that, you know, transpired in Asia in other lifetimes for some of you. But I really do feel like this sort of mentality is going to help us heal and help us move forward at this time. So maybe seeking out some of those philosophies or those methods might be good for you. The masculine. The masculine is just needing to go into his creativity. So I get some of you guys are musicians. Some are just kind of artistic or creative. And like, that's been something that's been resisted. Either you're getting back to your music, or you're getting back to your art, or you're getting back to being crafty in some way. Something's going to bring that out in you. And I feel like that's going to be really positive and putting you back into your divine feminine, heart-centered energy. Something's also going to remind you of the feminine. So I don't know if it's a song that you write, or for the masculine, could be something that you make with your hands that reminds you of the feminine. Something's going to remind you of the feminine when you get back to this stuff. And I do feel like for most, it's getting back to it. It's like something that you've been neglecting, an aspect of self that's been neglected. Combined energy is, for many of you, there's some sort of travel. Like some of you might have twins that are an hour away, 2 hours away, 3 hours away. It could be 3,000 miles away, 4,000 miles away, whatever it is. I do get the sense that up here ahead, there's going to be travel, probably in the fall, it feels like, where one is coming to see the other. So for those of you at any sort of a distance, this seems to be that the train or the mode of transportation is playing into the reconnection, the coming back together. So for those of you that applies for, that's for you. Bottom of this deck is again the same message as here: food and hunger, being left out in the cold, being destitute, the fear around moving forward, being alone, not being fully established, taking a big risk. So that's what's underlying. Let's go to the wisdom of the oracle deck and just see what wisdom it lends to us for the masculine and feminine energies. Whoa, someone just flew out. Okay. We know this is for the masculine. Hold on one second. Okay. Look what flew out. By the book. 11. And this is for the masculine. This is what I say. He's struggling about leaving these old paradigms, these old ways, these old expectations, leaving that, what he should do, what he thinks he should do, or even where he's comfortable. And they're saying he's needing to break this by the book stuff, this what society expects with what these old paradigms, and break from the tribe. And just like, this could even be, I get the sense, like where he's told people, like, where he's over you. Like he's over you. He's over you, the beloved. He's over you. He's past that. And now it's a certain amount of like needing to say, I don't care what they say. I don't care what they think. I'm going towards her. I know my truth now. There's that too. So that's interesting. Feminine. So feminine's getting 2, the tribe, and unfinished symphony. And it's so funny because as there's a lot of counter energies here, like push-pull, and you can see how the twins are working in a push-pull sort of a way, in a counterbalance sort of a way, because as he's struggling to break from the old norms and paradigms and from the old way of doing things and from the tribe that he's surrounding himself by, which is not really a tribe, it's really just the constrictions. The feminine is finding her true tribe, her soul tribe, and I feel like a lot of that's opening for her, especially over the next few months. This is through her expansion, through going, meeting, doing retreats, travel, classes. She's meeting her tribe. But I think lurking in the background, and this is that 10 card of the unfinished symphony, is still this feeling of like it's unfinished with the masculine. And you know what? For most of you, you're probably right, but it doesn't mean that you can't keep moving forward. And I love that this music is here because it's showing us, the masculine is chimed into that. Like he's going to start singing about her, playing about her. There's something connected to her in that music or in those arts. And it feels unfinished to you, feminine, because it is unfinished for most of you. Most of you. Not all of you. Some of you, it's done. It's done in the physical. It's not maybe your twin flame or it wasn't supposed to be this in this lifetime. But for many of you, though, it's not finished. But they're saying, like, you've got to keep moving forward. Even though it's not completely finished, it shouldn't hold you back or keep you stuck on it, waiting on an expectation or waiting on this is a completion cycle. Even the unfinished stuff, I feel like it's going to come around again, but it's only going to come around again when you step forward, when you blaze forward. So it's kind of a double-edged sword with that. One sense, this could keep you stuck because it feels unfinished. In another sense, I feel like if you keep moving forward and you clear the space and just kind of have faith, if you can hold space in a more neutral way, it's not going to torture you. It's not going to torment you. And you're going to be able to heal this, and it will come around and it will complete or find a renewal. So, and again, with communication coming forward, this could also be a certain amount of like closure that's coming, something like that. There's definitely something unfinished between the masculine and feminine, but I do feel the best course of navigation is to keep blazing your own trail, keep moving forward, keep clearing the space for anything to show up in accordance with your integrity and what you desire. And for the combined energies, go the distance. And interesting that we're looking at this distance card, and I was just talking about the distance between, I think it's also the distance, for the masculine, I feel like this is go the distance, make the effort, step up, go find her, go to her. For the feminine, I feel like it's, you need to go the distance with your healing. You need to go the distance with your own path and being on your own path. It's like that's what brings him to you. That's what magnetizes him to you. And again, this is a 47, which is an 11 card. I love that. And the bottom of this deck is a change in wind. So this is when there's a shift coming. There's a big shift coming. Some good, positive, but maybe unexpected things for both the feminine and masculine sometime within the next year. Even by December, I really get. This could lead to unexpected outcomes, like I've been saying for a long time. Reunions, unions, marriages, unexpected meetings, unexpected opportunities, unexpected course of events that kind of lead you into a new path or segue you into a new level of your mission, things like that. That's happening. It's already in this eclipse season set a new 6-month cycle in motion. So I really do feel like that is playing out through December for many of you. A change of direction in a good way, though. Might not feel it while it's happening, but it'll be like really good. And let's just look at a few advice cards from the Angel Therapy deck. Okay, so Archangel Michael just flipped over. So work with him. He's protecting and guiding you. I feel like this is overall energy. Okay, this could be for the masculine too and feminine. I mean, this is overall energy to me. He's a great protector. He's going to see you through any situation, any ending, any trouble, anything. So emotional sensitivity. Honor and respect your deep sensitivity as it is a gift to us all. And I feel like this is more the masculine embodying that, getting away from the ego, going into his sensitivity, going into his truth, going into that sorrow, sensitivity, that feminine energy, that artistic energy, that expression. Important for the feminine. She's moving away from the waters of sensitivity. She's honoring herself, but I feel like she's really more in an action, moving into a more action-oriented state where the emotional waters aren't weighing her down anymore. They're much more balanced from within, I feel, and she's much more able to control her emotions, not in a way that she's denying or stuffing them, but in a way that they're not controlling her. You know what I mean? So feminine, they're saying books for you. Your purpose involves writing, reading, editing, or selling spiritually based books. So a lot of you do have book ideas. You might be writing certain poetry or writing some things. It might be like writing a new blog or vlog or whatever that is. Like you're writing on social media. You're writing something. I feel a lot of you need to write. And this could be also how you're transmuting pain to purpose. Okay, not even just it could be. I feel it is. That's what that is. So this is interesting, bottom of the deck. Be willing to forgive. And I'm so glad that it's coming up as the very last card in this reading, because one thing I have to say is there are unions on the forefront. There are reunions and unions on the forefront. And one message that I was getting so powerfully yesterday, I even told one of my clients, is that there's really a need. Sorry, I have a low battery warning. Okay, there's really a need to, when you come back together, for some of you who are coming back together, to leave the past in the past. If you bring the past forward, if you bring the fears and the insecurities, and you bring the resentments and the what's happened in the past, or you're fearing that the same thing that happened in the past will happen again, then you're not truly in your own power. Your power, when you're aligned with it, sure, it's normal to have fears, of course. We need to think things over. We also need to look at situations and say, is this really viable for a reunion? Does this cross my boundaries? Could I even open to this again? Is it just that I forgive this and that's how I let go? Is it just that I get closure through that? And I decide this isn't for me? Could be for some of you, some situations. But there's other situations where you do want to reunite, and there's been some history in the past, some turmoil, some things that didn't go down well, or commitment that didn't happen, or whatever that was. And especially for the feminine, I'm getting, you cannot bring this forward. It's going to ruin a harmonious connection. And I know that's really hard, but I see the masculine doing a better job at wiping that slate clean, actually. He somehow can do it. In feminine, you're going to need to work at it. That means showing up in your power. That means showing up aligned with yourself and knowing that your safety, security, protection is from within, knowing that you trust your own judgment, knowing that your eyes are wide open, knowing that If you lead in with love, love can meet you, but also with your eyes wide open and a sense of intuition, trusting yourself in your own power, nothing can ever hurt you. This is how we need to move forward to let the past go. So I'll leave you with that. And I hope this was helpful. I'll see you guys over the weekend for the Ascended Master Series. And love to you all. Okay. Mwah. Bye.